On this channel, we've talked about nothing but Ultimate Team in College Football 25. Now it's time to get to the game mode that everybody's going to be playing, and that is Dynasty Mode. We've recently gotten the trailer. We've recently gotten the game modes. Dynasty Mode by far is going to be the most played game mode in this game for sure, and a lot of people are going to be replaying with different teams, playing with team builder, all that good stuff. And in today's video, I want to talk about the best teams that I think are the best teams to use to rebuild in a dynasty. So let's get into it, boys. If you guys are new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and throw a like on the video if you guys enjoy. Also, throw me a comment down below. What's the first team you guys are going to use in your first dynasty? Now, this video is mostly for the people that are going to be choosing a college football program that needs a rebuild really bad. Teams that are really bad right now. If you're one of those guys that just wants to pick your favorite team that's in the top 25, like the Ohio State Buckeyes or the Georgia Bulldogs, I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan myself. I'm probably going to play with the Ohio State Buckeyes at some point. That won't be the first dynasty team that I choose. I want to start from the bottom and work my way up. That's the fun part about this game. It's all about the journey, recruiting, and not being able to recruit 5-star recruits in your first year. You got to prove yourself in your first year. That's the fun part about Dynasty Mode. So pretty much all the teams that are going to fall in this list are pretty much every team that's outside of the top 25, and they're probably towards the bottom. Start off with a couple mid-tier teams, and the first one I want to start off with, as you can see here, we're on ESPN's website, of course, is the Colorado Buffaloes. This is one of those teams where it's like, they're not good yet, but you know they're going to be good with Deion Sanders being their head coach. Recruiting wise, they're going to be getting a lot of people, and I wonder if that's going to be the case in the game, if recruiting is going to be easy in that game because of Deion Sanders. I know he's not going to be in the game, but I just wonder if they're going to give him a little bit of an edge. This right here says that just as of 2024, they got 48 transfers that came in to the school. A lot of these guys are 3-star guys, 4-star guys. That'll probably make an impact. And of course, you've got the Sanders brothers, and you've got Travis Hunter that's on the cover of the game. He's probably going to be close to a 99 overall. So this team's almost kind of built already, but they're not in the top 25, so you could be the one that really just takes the next step for the Colorado Buffaloes. Next one's kind of mid-tier as well, probably won't be as difficult, is the Vanderbilt Commodores and the Auburn Tigers. These teams are good for if you want recruiting to be a little bit easier. All it would take is like one good year and you'd start getting like 4 or 5-star recruits on your team, simply because of the division or the conference that they're in. If you guys remember in the older NCAA games, if you are in a really good conference like the SEC, you could get extra points just for being in a better conference. So Vanderbilt and Auburn, especially Auburn has been the most recent successful team in the SEC out of those two. I feel like they would be easier, but last year, both of them had pretty tough years. The Auburn Tigers finishing at 6-7, and Vanderbilt was 2-10, and I feel like Vanderbilt would probably be more of a fun rebuild. They've been bad for quite a long time, sitting in the SEC. They've been getting beat up on for a while. Next one, I'm going to say Syracuse Orange. Only reason I say that is because they just recently got a pretty good quarterback out of Kyle McCord out of Ohio State. One of the very few teams that got a pretty good quarterback out of the transfer portal. Last year, they were 6-7. Decent team. Kyle McCord could make a big difference for this team for sure. Kyle McCord last year, 229 completions out of 348, 65%. He wasn't the greatest college quarterback in the world, but at Syracuse, I think he'll be a little bit better. He's going to go against less competition. I think he's really going to stand out there at Syracuse. So if you guys want a team that has a good quarterback, but they don't really have the best team, Kyle McCord would be a good starting piece for this team. All right, so the next part of this video is going to be for the lower tier teams. These are the teams that are at the bottom of the barrel. These are the teams that are probably going to get used the most, because most of us out there, we want to start from the bottom and work our way up to a 5-star team. So the first one I want to start with here is any team in the Mid-American Conference. Even back in NCAA 14, all of these teams were bad, and a lot of these teams were used for dynasty starting from the bottom up. But it always seems like Miami of Ohio is always kind of sitting at the top of this. They were 11-3. Ohio Bobcats, they're always there too. There's a lot of Ohio teams in this, I'm just now realizing. But if you want to start at the very bottom, Kent State and Akron, those are your two that you definitely want to start with. These teams are absolutely awful. Kent State was 1-11. Akron Zips were 2-10. You're going to have the worst team. You're going to have the worst recruiting abilities. That right there is going to be a challenge. But if you want a little less of a challenge, you can go with Miami of Ohio or Toledo Rockets. Toledo Rockets actually have really good uniforms. I know that's a big selling piece for dynasty teams. It's always good to have a team that looks cool. Toledo Rockets definitely have that for sure. I've got just a couple more here. Pretty much anyone in the Sun Belt Conference, any one of those bad teams. To me, Appalachian State stands out to me a lot. We all know this team for beating Michigan. I don't even remember what year it was, but they beat them on one of the biggest upsets of all time. And Michigan lost in the worst way possible as an Ohio State fan. That makes me excited. The year after that, I believe, was their first time being in the FBS. And since then, they haven't really done a whole lot. They're coming off a 9-5 season, not terrible, finishing second in the conference at 6-2. That tells me that there's some pretty good players there. Gives you a nice little structure. Maybe have 1 or 2 good seasons in the Sun Belt, get some recruiting, and then move to a different conference, something like that. I think they'd be good for a team that, you know, has a little bit of talent, but it's going to be tough to recruit with them. I think for me, that's the best team to choose in Dynasty Mode. Take a team that has a couple strong pieces, like a decent quarterback, good wide receiver, a good defense, whatever. That can give you increased odds of beating those, you know, the Alabamas out there, the LSU, all the big name schools. And then before you know it, after like a year or two, you have some 4 or 5 star recruits. So Appalachian State, definitely a good one. One more I've got here, and this is probably the team that I'm going to choose, and that is the Kennesaw State Owls. This right here is going to be the worst team in the game. They are going to be absolutely horrible. If you want to challenge, Kennesaw State is definitely your team for sure. The reason why they're going to be so bad is because this is their first year in the FBS, and they have confirmed that they will be in this game this year. So this team right here is literally the definition from starting from the bottom. Even in the division, I think it's Division 1 AA or something like that, this team finished 3-6. So they're not even good in the lower. I don't even know how they got boosted up into the FBS. I have no idea. So yeah, I have 2 teams that I'm probably going to try. My first year is going to be Kennesaw State. And then my second year with like a little bit of a better team, or my second dynasty, I'm probably going to select the Colorado Buffaloes. I think the Colorado Buffaloes would be exciting because they haven't really taken that next step into being an elite team that they probably will become. And that'd be cool to just step into those shoes and be that guy that changes this program. They were 4-8 last year, 1-8 in their conference. 1-8. That is crazy. But recruiting and all that stuff will probably be pretty easy. You know they're going to boost up Shedeur Sanders a little bit. Travis Hunter is going to be the best wide receiver in the game. So that's going to be a really, really fun team to use. But yeah, guys, those are my picks for the Dynasty teams. Let me know down in the comments, what teams do you think will be a fun team to use in Dynasty Mode? I also forgot to throw this in here too. If you don't like any of these teams that I named, and you don't like any of the teams at all, you can make your own team in Team Builder. They did confirm on their website that Team Builder will be coming back, and you can use this team in Dynasty. If you're unfamiliar with what that is create a team mode, but on steroids. You're not going to be creating the team within the game. It's going to be an entire website that you customize your own team, all of your players, your jerseys, your stadium, all of that stuff. You can upload your own logo. You can create it however you want it. That is the glory of College Football 25. There's so much customization that you can do in this game. So I'll probably be doing this too. Creating your own team, creating it how you want it to be. If you want it to be a bunch of 0 overalls, I'm sure you can do that. You want to do a bunch of 0 overalls with a 99 quarterback that's a freshman, you can do that too. There's just a lot with Team Builder that you can do, and you can really go crazy with it. And I think that can be really, really fun, starting as 0 overall and trying to get it to a 5-star team. But yeah, boys, that's going to be it for me, boys. I'm so excited for this game. It's going to be it's going to be the longest 2 months ever for all of us. And subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 3K subs by the time college football comes out in July. All right, boys, peace.